So we're in London for FutureNet World 2025. I'm here with Bruno Zerbib. He's Group CTIO and EVP at Orange. Bruno, thank you very much for joining us today. Really good to see you. Now, you were on the opening keynote panel here at the event this morning, and one of the topics that was discussed was how there's a shift now, or you were suggesting there's a shift within the telecom operator community towards truly considering the needs of customers rather than just supplying services and applications, so on and so forth. Is that really happening across the whole industry, or maybe is it only happening at Orange? And how is that manifesting itself?
So it's happening. I don't want to oversell it. It's not a solved problem, but I would say that there's an awakening at the scale of the industry that the notion of build it and they will come doesn't work. That's what we did for 5G, for instance. We hope that by providing better technology, we will have emerging use cases. It didn't work like this. And so as we are transforming our infrastructure to be less about hardware upgrade, but becoming more about continuous updates that are software defined, and as you know, we're becoming more and more essentially an operator of a cloud infrastructure. And with continuous innovation, we're going to have to become agile. And when you are agile, it means you need to focus on user stories. You need to try to figure out what are those use cases that you're going to be building towards. So as we put an end to this generational upgrade paradigm, to some extent, not entirely, and become more obsessed with continuous innovation, then the business case for each continuous innovation is going to be about the demand side. And so that's changing the culture. We are now reimagining what is the function of a product manager. Right. And it's not about just a 20 euros a month plan for 5G. It's really about enabling this use case for those customers that need low latency because that's the killer app that they have in mind.
Is that kind of model going to be possible to implement though? Because that sounds like it might be quite complex. And the thing that customers have very often complained about is, I don't understand what I'm getting for my money from my service provider, whether that's the enterprise or the consumer. So is it possible to make this simple, to meet user demands and make the proposition simple?
Listen, we live in a world of paradox. I think that on one hand, you have people that say, hey, I would love to get a very cheap plan for 2 euros a month. At the same time, you have people that say, I'm willing to spend 3-4 euros a month if you protect me from scammers. I don't want to get those undesired calls. So you're saying you're valuing protection from unnecessary calls more than the connectivity itself? For some people, they do. It's very weird because from a CapEx perspective, one is much simpler to address than the other. And unfortunately, it's the one that is the most expensive that sometimes is the hardest one to explain. So that's the situation we're in. I think as we are focusing more on the needs and the perception of those needs and the criticality of those needs for our customers, then we can assign some monetary value in a much more effective way. If it's all-you-can-eat connectivity, then it's becoming a commodity. A commodity remains essential, but it's a commodity. It's not differentiated. If you want to monetize more and capture more value, you have to move away from a commoditized product.
And does this mean that over time, or maybe this is already happening, that the key relationships for companies like Orange are changing from the hardware infrastructure providers to the cloud platform operators that will enable this kind of agility?
Yeah, so 5 years from now, that's all we'll be. I mean, we believe in infrastructure at Orange. Essentially, if you compare us against other telcos, we've made the commitment of investing in infrastructure, owning infrastructure. That's part of our strategy, and that won't change. But on top of that, what we're really going to be is as automated as the AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud of the world. We have no choice. We are going to embrace the same kind of technology, the same kind of agility, the same kind of culture. We're going to have our NOC becoming eventually a dark NOC because that's the way it works in the cloud environment. That's the natural evolution. Once you use the same technology, then you have to also adapt the same culture. Otherwise, it breaks. So that's the evolution path that we're on.
And that cultural change is happening now, is it? Are you seeing it within your own and other organizations?
Yeah, it is. It is because, first of all, I mean, clearly we are moving away from those like appliances that you have to upgrade every 6 months to a year with a software upgrade to something that's much more dynamic. Now, everyone at Orange that is in tech, on the technology side of Orange, is very comfortable with the notion of Kubernetes, containers, orchestration. It's kind of obvious. And it's interesting because it's not necessarily people who are in their 20s, it could be people in their 40s and 50s that did not grow up with those technologies that have fully embraced that. So it makes me very optimistic. The thing we underestimate is that telecommunication engineers are very educated, very well-rounded, very smart, and they can really adapt to new emerging technologies much more than maybe sometimes we might give them credit for.
Now, of course, underpinning and driving a lot of this change is AI and the arrival only 2 and a bit years ago of generative AI. And we're hearing a lot more about how AI enablement is changing network operations and the way that telcos run on a day-to-day basis. But is there a way to measure the actual impact and gains and productivity gains or any kind of gains within a company like Orange against the use of AI? Is it possible to put your finger and say, we have made a 10% gain here, or we are now 30% more productive in that team? Is that possible?
Yeah, it's more than possible. It's mandatory. Sometimes the question is that cost avoidance? Is it business as usual? Because, as you know, over the last 10, 20 years, 25 years, we've been getting more efficient. So that efficiency is built into our own plan. We are being expected to become more efficient year over year. Like any company, we have to do more with less, and there's an expectation that we'll do that. AI is in support of that expectation, but that expectation precedes AI. We have to be more automated no matter what happened, and automation did not start with AI. So I would say, as someone, one of the person I talked to a few months ago in the Bay Area told me, Bruno, if you really want to think clearly about AI, just understand AI is another word for software. Right. Once you accept that, then the discussion changes entirely. It's a newer form of software, but it's software. So it is absolutely built into our plan. The way we work with our finance team, it's really about productivity, how do we become more efficient from the way we support our customers, the way we react to outages, how we do all of those things, and we measure those things, and we say, okay, that's the outcome that you're going to see, and and we are communicating now in Comfy to the financial community. We are now officially communicating the savings that we're doing with AI. It's actually something that's being tracked and very official because that's something that we are reporting back now. We did that for the first time this year.
Now, of course, it was the same with when cloud became a big thing. Everybody got really excited about the cloud, but some people forgot that you actually need the networks and the connectivity for the cloud to even exist and to work. And with software, of course, you need the underlying infrastructure and the best underlying infrastructure to make it reach its capabilities. For a company like Orange, what do you need in terms of, let's call it AI infrastructure, to be able to meet your goals? Do you need to develop your own edge data centers, for example? Do you need to source your own GPU-based servers? What kind of infrastructure requirements do you need now?
I think my answer is evolving. So first of all, the network API topic and the AI topic are the same topic. Because all those APIs have to be in support of those emerging use cases that are going to be AI defined. And to really be a network API company, you have to be a cloud company. Now, the question is, should we spend hundreds of millions, billions on buying GPUs? If we did this 2 years ago, and we had a lot of pressure to do that, we would have made a big mistake. It would have been money that the return on investment would not have been there. They were very expensive. The LMs were not very effective. And for me, it's like buying an NVIDIA GPU. It's like buying an ice cube that is melting before I have the time to put in a cocktail, right? By the time I find the cocktail, which is the killer app or the app that can monetize, it's water. So it has depreciated so quickly that it's a mistake. So that is the thing that kept me up at night, to be honest with you, is the depreciation, the speed of depreciation of that asset, the GPU. We have the facilities. We have all the data centers. We have that. We've been doing this historically, so we have that. The real challenge if you want to build an AI factory, it's really the cost of those GPUs and the fact that we're talking about a huge amount of money, right? And so I think with the models becoming more effective, the optimization that is happening, and we're talking about 1 or 2 order of magnitude better, because really it's the cost of inferencing now. The fact that we have sovereignty issues emerging, the fact that we have latency requirements, in this new hybrid AI world, you're going to see a set of use cases where AI at the edge will be important. As much as we can do it on the device. And as you know, an iPhone today is as powerful as an M1 PC Mac of 4 years ago, which means in 4 years, a phone will be as powerful as an M4 Pro, which means that a lot of things that you'll be able to run some basic chat GPT on the phone 3-4 years from now. The only issue is the battery. I don't really know how this is going to play out, but 3 or 4 years from now, you will be able to do 23, 24 use cases direct that are in the cloud on the device. But you'll have like multi-modal processing requirements, low latency. And so what we think will happen between sovereignty, trust, control points, customers saying, hey, we want to use American technology, but we want to make sure it's being managed by a European company, or maybe French technology, French LMs or American LMs with some kind of control. All of those things are going to really force us to think very hard about what is the role of a telco operators with those AI factories. And I think eventually we'll have to play a role that will be significant.
But that's for the future. It's all could go any way at the moment.
Yeah, but it's evolving in that direction. I believe in infrastructure. Yes. And AI is just another infrastructure play. Yeah. And at the end of the day, again, the network API play, the AI play, it's the same play.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Bruno, thanks very much for your time today. Great to talk to you, and good luck for the rest of 2025 when things are moving so quickly. Thank you.
Thank you.